Welcome back, everyone, to the BD1P Binding of Isaac modded series. Today is going to be a random normal character run for win number 3 and episode number 326. Your question for today, put your answer in the comments down below, is going to be, how long should a company wait before remastering one of their old games? Give me an Eden start. Yo, we have not played as Eden for a long while. Starting us off with Genesis and Silver Bar. Seed, by the way, is going to be F86BJ4CA. The reason I asked this question is I've been having a couple of issues recently. Nothing like serious, some very minor like computer hardware issues that have made my my job decently hard to do. And it all kind of boils down to one thing. I would say back in the early 2010s, like well before that, I would say maybe in 2006 and onward, the best quality monitor you could usually grab was a like a 60 hertz monitor or TV. Those were kind of the standard and the best thing on the market at that time. So a lot of games were made with that in mind. It was like, hey, if you're oh, be careful there. If you're making a game, make sure it functions properly on 60 hertz as opposed to like anything else. And that's fine, because even today, 60 hertz monitors are, that is the worst, dude. That guy is so hard to dodge. What do you do in that situation? It's gonna happen again, isn't it? No, we backed up far enough that time. Great. Which is fine, because a lot of monitors today as well are still within that 60 hertz range, and that's kind of the common to have. It is switching towards 144 as of recent, but it is primarily still a 60 hertz dominated market. And that's great, because I used to have a 60 hertz monitor for the past like 6 or 7 years, and I've now moved on to a 144 hertz as of like 4 months ago, and it's great. I actually reverted back to 60 hertz today earlier for a video I was doing, and it was so hard to do. Like, you don't notice just how much, like 144, it's going on me. It's stomping on me. How much 144 hertz really makes a difference until you go back to 60 hertz, and it's like an awful experience. Luckily, our HP is doing fine. That damage upgrade as well is super nice. You are going to want to take advantage of your secret rooms on this run just because you have a Genesis, and that is very powerful with secret rooms in mind, although it is not going to happen here. So I think you take your blessing and you just move on down. But there's an issue with that, because when you go to a 144 hertz monitor, a lot of early 2000s games that aren't being emulated on modern hardware, like are just being like released off of Steam or anything like that, they have some very minor issues. Issues you probably wouldn't notice like in a casual playthrough, but ones that do. Oh, hello, beautiful. We gotta pop it now because we're gonna take Genesis all the way to the end of our run, but still, opening one chest and getting 2 bombs and 2 keys is a pretty decent yield there, especially for free. But some very like strange things can happen. If you're unaware, the hertz of a monitor helps determine the frame rate a game or a program can be running at its maximum potential. For example, a 60 hertz monitor will not allow your monitor to display anything above 60 frames. Your game could be running at like 160 frames, you'd only see those 60, because that's the hardware that you're running on. However, if you're running on a 144 hertz monitor, you will be seeing 144 frames. That's to my, best of my knowledge there. I could be entirely wrong, but I'm like 90% sure that's how the hertz and the monitor stuff functions. And it also helps if you have a good graphics card and processor and all that kind of nerdy shit like that. But the hardware of your monitor is kind of the big culprit there. And when you're trying to display a game that was only made for 60 hertz, and you're turning on your VSync, which syncs up the game's frames to your monitors, and then running that game at 144 hertz, things start to slightly break. And that has happened in my favorite game of all time that I've been trying to play for a video again recently, LEGO Indiana Jones 1. It is a game that I hold very dear to my heart, and one that whenever I can't play it properly, it's frustrating. And if I was just playing the game casually, I wouldn't notice anything in particular like making my life harder. I would notice some smaller things, like for example, with 144 hertz and VSync turned on, I noticed like sometimes the CPU players don't make their jumps properly because for some reason, the higher your frame rate, the lower you jump in that game. And if you have your hertz all the way up, it makes the computer ally players like jump a little bit shorter and therefore miss their pathing, which I thought at first was just kind of like Lego games being Lego games, because they can be, you know, sometimes a bit of a buggy mess. Not super often, but it happens occasionally. Yo, I'm gonna actually totally steal Keeper's, well, let's go to our secret room first, because there could be tons of money lying in there that could be super useful for a lad like me. Please be here. Perfect. Giving us bombs and keys. Okay. Nice poop there. I appreciate that. We do get 1 cent and a heart back. Do your last room this way. I want to buy Keeper's Sack, like, honestly. Ooh. We're going to be at 11 cents now. And if we use bombs on that golden Keeper statue, we'll be at 13. And we still need to find 2 more somehow. Is that going to be possible? Either way, this is 100% worth it for the money. And I guess stealing Keeper's Sack would be the right play to make, because you could actually keep your money and buy other things on the later floors and get stats off of that, instead of losing 15 cents on the Keeper's Sack by itself. I don't know. We got a couple more rooms to do here, so don't make any judgment calls super early on here. You could find a nickel or a dime or a golden penny. You never know. This modded series can be a bit crazy sometimes, but like TLDR, ooh, that's all right. Things start to break when your frame rate goes to a certain level in older games. And it's used for Lego Indiana Jones 1, Lego Indiana Jones 2, The Complete Saga, Star Wars 1 and 2, The Clone Wars, Batman 1 and 2, Pirates of the Caribbean, I believe, as well. Like, it affects more than I think you know. And I was trying to record and stream a minimum stud run of Lego Indiana Jones 1. And at first, the stream was going pretty well. We were making our good jumps across. And then I kind of realized, like, man, these jumps that are usually so easy for me to do when I'm playing, like, you know, in my off time or playing a couple years back, I'm having a hard time with. And I know that I'm doing them right because I used to speedrun this game, like, for fun. Okay. Yeah, so you definitely want to steal. Because you want to have the 15 cents for next floor shop so you can get stats based off of that. Oh, you are right there. All right, fantastic, man. That bomb's going to miss entirely. We do want to bomb you, though, because right now, our stats are really not good enough to take you down normally here. And this fight should not be super difficult to keep our Devil Deal precedence if we just go really quick and be a little bit risky. And I used to run this game, like, when I was like 12 to 14, and I was decently good. I could get most of my trick jumps down and my out-of-bounds clips and things like that. But, you know, it wasn't working for me. So somebody in my stream chat by the name of Gay Annabeth, shout out Gay Annabeth. Oh my god, hello Dice Shard, you are beautiful. She was telling me in the chat that a lot of these older games, I didn't realize that was there. I could have gotten my 2 cents that way, huh? A lot of these older games rely on frame rate to calculate height of jumps and things like that. Actually, use it in here. God, I didn't want to get an active item. I have a Genesis right now, you asshole. I want to keep this. And from that, I started doing more research and being like, okay, what's the proper frames to run this game at? And I set my, I used my graphics card control panel to set my game's frame rate cap at 60, and it fixed all of my issues for a while. I could hit my jumps easier. The game was running a lot smoother as well, less like, you know, like frame skips and things like that. And the world was perfect. And then I realized I was having an even bigger issue. In games like that, there are a couple of tricks that require you to have your VSync turned off. So your game will like intentionally bug out to get the results you want to see. I am not going in there, and we will just move on down. And the weird thing is that whenever I went to turn and toggle my VSync on and off, the game would just crash. And it wasn't like it would crash immediately. There were times where I could turn it on, but if I went to turn it back off or vice versa, it would crash like that. And it wasn't consistent. And I couldn't do a lot of the clips, like out of bounds clips require your VSync to be off. Punch launches require your VSync to be off. All these really like good speedrun tech require you to be able to toggle your VSync on and off, and I couldn't do that. So I joined this morning. This is a very recent story. I joined the Lego speedrunning Discord server to get some more insight into if my issue was like a common bug. And the current like big record holder, Chimkin, he's a fantastic runner, by the way. He was like helping me, guide through my issues there. And oh, I gotta wait this out, huh? Good room design, by the way. Give it 1 second. We'll be cool. All right, there we go. He was very, very helpful, by the way. Chimkin was giving me great, great advice on what to do and how to maybe fix my issue. We tried several different things. The first thing I tried was setting my NVIDIA graphics card for that game in specific to natively have the VSync turned off. It didn't do anything. I had it natively turned on. It didn't do anything. I had it set to adaptive. Still didn't do anything. Then I went and I changed my monitors. That was a great hit, BD1P. I changed my monitor's refresh rate, as mentioned earlier, down to 60. It still didn't fix anything. Then I took Chimkin's game files, replaced my game files with his, and the issue was still persisting, which leads me to believe in all of my infinite wisdom that the issue is my hardware. And it's not like it's just happening in this game. Like, any game that changes up my aspect ratio or, like, goes into full screen automatically, besides Isaac, it's, like, literally only Traveler's Tale Lego games. They will either crash upon turning VSync on and off or alt-tabbing, or, like, give me encoding errors on my OBS that are never fixed. Like, to this day, ever since trying to play Lego Skywalker Saga on stream, whenever I launch, that was almost really dumb. Launch Isaac, I get an encoding error right away. And it's really frustrating. I've changed all of my video settings multiple times. I went from doing CBR to CPQ for my encoding and my bitrate management. Like, it's been such a struggle. But nothing has fixed it. And this is my last cry for help for you guys in the audience right now. If any of you guys, great hit, are experienced in, like, hardware stuff like that, GPUs, monitors, refresh rates, and have had issues like this or know of issues in the past that are similar to this, I would love your help on Discord. Send me a DM, please. I have Googled my issue extensively, and I've seen nobody have the same issue as me in Lego Indiana Jones, and ones that have had the same issue as me, they have not had the same solutions. I've tried every solution out there, and I think my last-ditch effort's going to have to be upgrading my graphics card. But in order to do that, I probably also have to upgrade my processor. I'm running an i6 right now, I believe. I gotta check my actual stats again. And I'm using a 2080, I believe, 2080 Ti for my graphics card, which should be fine for running a game from 2008, but I don't know. And the reason I asked this question is because at a certain point when your old games become nigh unplayable in situations like this and require all of these workarounds to make them happen, doesn't that warrant, like, getting some kind of remaster or re-release or rehashing of the game? Like, I think Nintendo is the biggest culprit of this. When your old games become really hard to play legally, I like a Loki's Horns. It's like our first passive item of the entire run so far. So, kind of got to take it there. And I'm going to buy this for extra stats right there. I'll buy that. And you know what, dude? I'll even buy this. Spend the money when you can for the extra damage there. 0.6 is pretty good. And the sack, actually, you know what? For getting more money and keys and bombs and tigers, oh my. That's also pretty good for us. But when a piece of software or any kind of game becomes really hard to play or out of your way to play, a company should, if they have the resources and money allocated, just do a quick remaster. I feel like it wouldn't take super long to port a game like Lego Indiana Jones and fix the encoding issues and the resolution issues and things like that, because even still, Lego Indy 1 wasn't released on Steam when it first came out. It was a console exclusive game for like the first month of its launch, which means that back when the Wii wasn't, like, the CRT was the TV everybody had, the resolution was like 640 by some other, I think it's 640 by 840. So the games, it had to already be like adjusted for PCs to have it on 1920 by 1080. And they have an option for advanced graphics as well. So they do have the resources and the drive to, I believe, like, fix these old games, but I have to ask, why not? Because these games are still very popular. If you go onto Steam right now, like, there are discussions on Steam, which is the weirdest place to talk about games, is Steam discussions. There are discussions going back to as recent as June. And for a game that came out in 2008, that is by a relatively small studio, I mean, that's a pretty good fan base to have still playing the game. And I play Lego games like every single day still. It's kind of my new niche on my main channel, and I have a great time doing it. And I would really appreciate, even if you just kept the game and the bugs the exact same, just fixing the software-hardware compatibility issues, because that would make the game so much more accessible. Almost every single discussion on Steam is some bug that somebody is having within the game. And that's depressing, man, because like I have such fond memories of going to my basement on my old big-ass CRT TV and playing the hell out of this game like every single night. And it really does blow to see it kind of forgotten by the developers. And again, like they work on games like in modern day too, so they can't be allocating a ton of their resources. Oh, we're fucked, yeah. Like to remastering an old 08 game, but it would still, I think, like make a lot of old fans happy. And you know what? If you want to make some good cash off of it, here's what you do. And I'm gonna have a video essay about like this topic coming out in about like a month or two, but I want to talk about it right now. Lego games have always used the same. I am so bad. My speed, my tier rate right now need a little bit of a buff going on. Lego games have always been made every console generation within the same engine. You know, like they're always made. I would say every like 5 games in a row use the same exact engine for those games. For example, Lego Indiana Jones 1, a 2008 game, I believe, and Lego Indiana Jones 2, a 2000 no, maybe Lego Indy 1 is like 2010. Either way, Indy 1 and Indy 2 are only 1 year apart. They use the same engine, but Indy 2 has a lot more like unique stuff going for it. It has a bit more of some quirks to it. Lego's Star Wars Complete Saga has the same engine as Lego Batman and Lego Indiana Jones 1. They use the same base game engine, and they make certain tweaks for individual games to make them stand out from each other. It's a really great way to prioritize saving money, using your own game engines, things like that. It really is a smart maneuver there. Now, every 5 years or so, the engine gets a pretty big update. Like, for example, it might add, like, different combat. It might add, different, like, pre-rendered cutscene abilities and things like that. It updates really significantly every 5 years. Now, the most recent case of that is the Skywalker Saga, where they made an entirely whole new engine for the first time in a very long time to accommodate the new huge open world and the new direction they're taking these games in. So you have this huge new engine being used for Lego Star Wars, which is mainly being played out of nostalgia from fans who played the game, the complete saga, when they were kids. So here's the thing. TT Games, if you're watching this video, I am almost an ambassador now, so you should be watching my content, alright? I'm just telling you that much. I got some good ideas over here on the BD1P channel. Make a collection. Call it like some shit, like the Red Brick Trilogy. It's Complete Saga, it's Indiana Jones 1, and it's Lego Batman. If you don't want to use Star Wars, you just use Star Wars very recently, you can do like Pirates of the Caribbean or some shit on there. I don't know. But it's 2 to 3 games, older games, made on the same old engine from, a decade ago, almost at this point. Actually, more than a decade. Jesus Christ, it's 2022. Holy shit, I'm fucking old. I'm like 60 years old now. You take this new Skywalker Saga open world engine. You take these old games. Levels and puzzles stay the exact same. You have the same levels and same puzzles. But you use the new third-person camera angle for full camera control. You make the combat have combos like in the new Star Wars as well to give it some more charm to it, right? And you remake all of these old environments the same way, but with a new camera angle and stuff, and you re-release it. Updated graphics, fix the bugs, make new hardware changes, things like that. I guarantee you make that and you put 3 beloved old games in there, you're going to sell just as much, maybe even more, than Skywalker Saga did. I know I would buy that day one. I mean, that just oh my god, the 1% item room, huh? What a very lucky run we're having so far. And by lucky, I mean this is complete dog shit for us. That's not bad, but we can't do anything with it. This is a shop-based run for real. Give me my shop for Keeper's Ballsack. But I'm just saying, if you were a kid who grew up playing Legos, and you played Complete Saga, Lego Batman, all that kind of stuff, you would 100% buy a red brick collection for like 60 bucks for 3 full games, remastered childhood nostalgia favorites that are playable and, you know, more functioning on modern hardware. To me, that is a very easy choice to make, and because you already have the environments and the gameplay mechanics like down through the new game engine plus the older games like direction, it would take you half the cost of making a new game, and you would still make like hella sales off of that. I'm just saying, it does not, and I'm not a game dev, by the way, so this may be harder than I'm making it out to be by a lot, but I still think it is a profitable thing to do, and I would be in line to buy that day one. And the only issue is, and this is why I'm saying use the new game engine for it, is you don't want to make your old games obsolete. Whenever you make a new remaster or a new release of an old game, the biggest fear is making that old game, which is still playable on modern hardware through Steam and things like that. You don't want to make that old stuff obsolete, and I understand that. But if you use the new engine for the new game, we're only getting active items this run. We're only getting active items today. That's the new, I guess, trend for this run, is your passive items are pretty good, but your active items are taking up a majority of the stuff you should be getting passively. It stings. It does. Go to your shop first. You have potentially 2 premium item buys going on, maybe even more if you're real lucky. But if you use the new game engine, it'll feel like a brand new game. You have to look at these old environments you could only see from like an isometric angle in a... Yeah, buy it. It's going to be big stats, and buy this too. Look at that. Look at our damage stat. It's getting big. You would still have reason to go back and play the old one for nostalgia's sake, but also get to revisit the nostalgia in a brand new light. It's a perfectly solid, like, win situation. Dude, that might have been a frame perfect bomb right there. I have no idea. I am so proud of that either way. Angel deal right now. Please. It better not be Breath of Life. It's Prismatic Aberration, everybody's favorite item. It actually is completely good, and I'm really happy we found that. One last thing. I'm going to say you have to be either here or here. I knew it. I'm a god gamer. That's an incredibly good find to get, or good get to find, I guess. I don't know, one of those two phrases there. Moving on down once again. Because here's my, like, 2 cents right now. While playing back all of these classic games on stream, I played Indy 2, Pirates of the Caribbean, Lego Batman 1 and 2, Lego Indy 1, and Complete Saga. Playing all of these games back, the number one issues I have is the camera angle. Because while it's still very playable and still, obviously, it functions well, if we had a better camera angle and it wasn't just like you're stuck in this, I can't do it, I'm so sorry. Watch us get no extra active items on this floor, because that would be great to have secret room pool stuff going for us. But if we don't get it, you know what? We don't get it. No big deal. Like, while it still functions, and you can still see things, there are moments of, like, depth perception being really weird, and you're just kind of thinking to yourself, if I could move my camera up, like, 1 or 2 extra inches, this jump would be so much easier, or this puzzle would be so much more fun to do. And it does occasionally take away from the experience of the game when you really can't see what's going on properly. Which is why I think if you were able to switch your camera around and maybe have it in third person, it would be a breath of fresh air. And if you add, because like the number one thing about Skywalker Saga that I think a lot of fans really enjoyed was that the new combat system is way too fun to be in a Lego game. This combat system, like with light attacks, heavy attacks, jump attacks, like counters, it's not like it's super in-depth, but it adds a whole new layer of fun to like just beating up enemies. Hitting enemies in old games were like fun. You had the cool sound effects and stuff like that. but it is nothing compared to like taking a boss on a triple jump combo slam in the Skywalker Saga. If you were able to take these old games and give every character a new kind of combo like Skywalker Saga has, with, might I add, a fraction of the character selection, because these are older games, they only have like 200 different playable characters in them, and a lot of them are just copy-paste either way, you could make these things feel, okay, we have a play. Another active item, might I add, by the way. Time Gal. I knew it was you. I knew it was you. Hold on. That's a really good find for getting extra drops, as well as in the future getting a secret room reroll for Genesis. I'm very pro Time Gal there. Look at her right there. She's so happy. But it would bring a breath of fresh air into these older games, and it would help, you know, newer generations of kids playing these games experience what many say to be the golden age of LEGO gaming. And although, like, they aren't the most technically impressive games, they still, I think, are noteworthy in gaming development as a whole, with being some of the first, like, really well done edutainment games for kids. They deserve to have that spot in gaming history and be preserved through all of time with remasters and stuff like that. And I guess to get more specific for our question, I think gaming, if you're going to make a game remaster, it cannot be any sooner than like a decade. Because even I'd say every 7 years, a new console generation happens. You get a console for like 7 years, and a whole new, like, brand new Xbox 3000, PlayStation 60 comes out, right? This room is brutal. And if you're doing remasters within like a decade, and they can still be playable, these remasters and the OG version on the same piece of hardware, there's no reason to remaster that game. Like, The Last of Us 2 remaster, what's the point, man? Like, be honest with me. Does anybody want that? The game looks graphically fine and pretty good, honestly, as it is. There's not much more you could do to make the game worth playing once again. The game has to be worth playing on different hardware for it to be even considerable for a remaster. And because these LEGO games are super old and very, very buggy, and there are still game-breaking bugs present in all of them, and they are no longer being officially updated or supported, I think it's time to take a look back and use some nostalgia. One of the most powerful selling tools on the entire planet is nostalgia. If you can prey on nostalgia, you can sell anything. I could probably go and make like a good profit on making like a Fushigi Ball 2. Because every American kid who saw the Fushigi commercials, if you don't know, by the way, Fushigi is like a juggling magic ball thing. Every kid who saw a Fushigi Ball on TV when they were like 5 and couldn't get it is going to be like, you know what, $20, I'll buy a Fushigi 2 ball. You could make a good buck off of that. And literally only because it's just nostalgia. Because Fushigi is kind of lame, I'll be real with you. I think Fushigi is kind of stupid nowadays, but if you sold it again, Fushigi 2, I don't know, man. I think you can make a decent profit off of that. This room is very interesting. Oh my god. Don't spurt on me, please. I'm just a boy. Actually, I am no longer a teenager, so I can't say that anymore. I'm a full-grown adult, besides not being 21. Is that red stew? Is that red stew? Buy everything here. You need more stats, like, real bad. And give some red hearts away to this. You never know what you could find it here. Nickels, dimes. IV bag for the other boy? Hold on. Because red stew is a full heal. And you want to make sure you're getting your money's worth here. Okay, not good. Buy this. You're going to get a full HP. Spam this. You do want to get a lot of money. 4 Keeper's Sack next floor. Before you go and give up your IV bag forever. And I think there's so many red hearts everywhere on the ground, man. This is... Why is this floor so rich with HP? I don't really care a lot about the damage bonus from Red Stew right now. I'm more concerned about getting permanent DPS upgrades from Red Stew, or from Keeper's Sack in general. We'll go a little bit harder here. Because once we get a good amount of money, we can just start buying out. And we only have one more shop, I understand that, but it still could be fairly useful here. And we're not going to have IV bag once we enter this room. Oh my god, hello, beautiful. That's it's gone forever now. Give up by V-Bag, and you're going to get in return Cage, Beanborn, a real human being. Gotcha. Okay, fantastic. Go back here, grab your Genesis back, and that was a very, very profitable red stew, and our damage is still doing really, really well for this boss fight once we find our way into there. Now, HP could obviously be doing a bit better. I understand that, and there's a bunch of hearts for us. And Loki is probably not going to last more than, like, 30 seconds, just like me. Where are you, buddy? Come here. Oh, Beanborn. Push that block away. Get that boo-boo bitch out of my sight, please. Okay, I'm going gamer for a moment here. Nice. That was perfectly timed. All planned, by the way. That was also planned. Another angel deal and saucer for 3 luck. I can memorize modded items just by their silhouette now, and it's a fantastic feeling. The Bible. Book of Virtues. Hello, beautiful. We can't have both of you? Goodbye, beautiful. We have to grab this. We cannot give up Genesis just yet. We're going to be using it to skip through, oh, hello, the final couple of floors, aka just one floor, that being the cathedral floor of the run, because I do not really want to fight Isaac today. I will be real with you. Okay, I've done a relatively full clear of the floor thus far. Oh, I didn't even see you back there, dog. Why don't we go? That's really, really good. See our shop first to get some extra stats for the rest of it. You just want to buy everything here. Money is no longer going to be of any use to you going forward here. So buy this, obviously buy this as well. Ooh, that's good for sacrifice room stuff. And go to your item room too. We are going to be sacrificing on this floor, by the way. This is a dice shard moment for sure, because you want to be getting only passive items right now. There we go, boys. Give me a full health in there, will ya? Orf. Didn't really care for that too much. You can take this going forward as well. No more consumables needed. You have a good amount of keys and bombs and all that kind of stuff. Be careful. We're going to go and sacrifice for a couple of reasons. Number one is we want to have a good couple of pools for our Genesis reroll, and right now we only have 1 angel item for our reroll, and that's like the only good pool, plus 2 secret room pool items right now. We want to get some more angel deal stuff. It is not looking super likely. Do you want to fight the angels right now while you have like the build to do so? You know, you have like your red stew is now officially gone, huh? You can do this. You'll be fine. You don't want to take any red heart damage, though, is the big kind of caveat. You go for 1 more. I don't think you fight the other guy, because you only got 20 coins here. I don't think you fight the other guy. You do want to keep a... wait, does this buff our angel deal chance up right now? Actually, you do want to press this and then grab this right away. The better our angel deal chance, well, the better, obviously, for the run. Because devil deal items, you know, they're fine, but angel has so much more oomph behind it and is usually a lot more fun and creative. Oh my god. I almost walked out of the room there. We could just teleport down to Dark Room, actually, right now. And then Genesis while we're there and try to win the run that way. Actually, you know what, man? We haven't done a sacrifice on, like, Before the Womb in a while. Let's just do it, man. We can spend a lot of HP on this first floor as well, trying to get some extra devil items here. It's not a big deal. Okay, what do you got for me here? Take Anarchy. Do you want to go for double items there? And you pop this. And now you got to try to win the run. Yikes. Okay, you gotta try to win the run just off of this floor alone. Perks is really good. I will go for pills for more stuff like that. The mark is easy. Take a speed up pill right there. Bone hurting juice, a little bit of extra damage. We're gonna go for flight, for dodging creep. Okay, this might actually... This is going to take our active item and put it into our pill slot when we use it, which might make us get a couple of extra Eden souls there. Oh, but everything here is a freaking active item, dude. Can I put an active item? I can. I'm so smart. That's beautiful. Take this. Twisted Pear is the easy choice here. What is this? Mechanical Eye. Huh. I'm going to go for defense. We got to be really, really safe on this floor. We'll go for a little bit of extra quick charging. Obviously, the HP and double HP drops. C-section is the huge one. Mark of Cain is a respawn, so sure. Dolly is potentially a lot of HP plus increased tier rate. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, take this. That could be useful if we want to play around with that in our starting room. Now, that is a Forget Me Now. I don't really care about that. We'll go for Sage. For Conjoyant, of course. More HP and tier rate. More damage. And that's all we're getting, huh? Okay. You take this. Open up this. It's milk. That's fine. And you go down. You're going to activate your Dark Prince's Crown by taking Guppy's Eye. And have a really, really good tier rate. And, okay, we actually have a really good build right now. And all we have to do is just survive. Oh my god. I think we deal more damage than we were before. I think, surprisingly, in breaking news, choosing your build makes you do better. Who would have saw that coming? Oh. Obviously, almond milk. Oh, it didn't transfer into the card there. Interesting. Well, we now have almond milk, C-section, and number 2. We just go and fight Mega Satan and say screw it, man? I mean, might not be a bad idea. It's going to be a laggy Mega Satan fight. But, I mean, it was a good play, a fun play. I think we should give it its all right here. The floor 6 sacrifice. We don't deal... it's going to be close. We don't deal, I think, like enough damage to really warrant doing this, especially with our lag going on. But our HP is fine. And I think if we just... I mean, we're doing damage to his hands, though. It's spreading damage, which is really, really good, actually. You know, I think we have it in the bag here. I think we have this in the bag no matter what. It might be a long fight, so strap in, though, boys. We may be here for about, like, 6 or 7 minutes. You never know. We do kill the regular bosses pretty fast. But I guess TLDR, you don't need to remaster your game until, like, a decade at the bare minimum. Or if your game had, like, a major hardware upgrade in between consoles that could benefit the game and make the gameplay different or more engaging in a certain capacity, not like The Last of Us. In my opinion, of course. I'm not a huge fan of, I actually haven't played The Last of Us. I've seen gameplay of it. It really doesn't look like my thing. But I still don't think, even if it was my thing, that that's the game warranting a remaster in this day and age, especially when there are older games that would be nice to have either regionalized to be overseas or localized is a better word there, sorry, to be accessible overseas where it wasn't previously, or could just use a pretty nice upgrade to be playable for new generations on modern day hardware. Last of Us can be played on like the most recent piece of hardware with no noticeable difference from other games. You could probably honestly make a case for the new Last of Us remaster going onto the PS4 and still being functional there and not really making a big difference. But again, I don't know. I could be wrong there. I mean, I usually am in these situations, but time will tell, right? Time will tell. Almost the last mini-boss of this fight down, and we are on to our final living Mega Satan phase, right before he dies forever. I have not stopped shooting the entire fight. The Hollow is here for some reason now. You're not going to live through this, buddy. I'm sorry. You're dead now. 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 Your HP is non-existent down there. What is happening? You're dead now. He's dead now, by the way, Chad. First try. Okay, here we go. Phase 2. With our almond babies. There's a maggot in the top left freaking me out. You guys see that up there? Little guy squirming around. Oh, we win. We are crushing this phase so hard. Although I can't really see what's going on. I'm sure the bit rate is awful for video right now. I wish I could tell what the fuck was happening. That bomb's gonna hit me. Yup. How about we don't throw? I can't even move. I'm so slow, man. I might have to start uninstalling mods from the series, man. Like, this lag to a certain point is getting a bit ridiculous. This would run at, like, at least 50 frames on unmodded Isaac. We're at 21 frames right now. I have a counter, because this game concerns me sometimes. It's the same pattern again, dude. I can't see, everything is red right now. I just stopped shooting to see what's happening on the screen. Okay, well, it didn't really help too much, did it? Make a break for it. We may lose, man. I'm going gamer now. I think we win no matter what now. There we go. Okay, beautiful. If you enjoyed the run, the sacrifice, all of that kind of stuff, a like and a comment goes a long way for a smaller channel. I'm not doing Void, screw off, like mine. In the meantime, though, guys, I have been BD1P. Peace out and goodbye.